how was your pee break?
My pee break?
They might flash you unattended.
Random, baby.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
I, too, am a thought criminal.
Good. Well, I like you already.
Does this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave.
Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is men's kryptonite. Welcome to Talk to Me, Taylor. Surprise, bitch. What, did you think that you'd seen the last of me this week? You know, I was going to creep on up here on your Friday for a little pop-up episode. Hey, John Legend in the comments. I see you. I'm so on one right now. Can I just vent for a second? Not that I'm asking permission, because I'm just going to do it anyways. And I'm kind of glad that I saw this little piece of content before I came on today to talk about this, because it actually does feed into this very thing. And yes, for those of you jizzing your pants with anticipation, we're going to do the Alix v. everyone's saying Alix v. Alix, but the not petty shit, just the real, you know? And hey, you know, what do I know? I know I like to give the people what they want. I know I'm going to tell you to you straight. I'm like half these bitches. And I know that while unlike Alex Cooper, you know, I don't have a $125 million deal with Spotify just yet, but I could shed some light on the sitch. You know, I've been running my own platform for a decade, and I did have a little brush with Dave Portnoy, who was going to potentially pick up a show I was doing at the time when Call Her Daddy fell apart at the seams the first time. So I got a little something to add to the combo. But first, okay. I know, John Legend, I was away a long time, right? I'm no mathematician, no rocket scientist, despite my NASA shirt. Christina, what's up? My hero. Astro Christina. But it's been 20 hours about, which is too long. I know we can't keep going like this. Okay, but let me just like go on my little thing here. I hate fake people and people who are not about what they're about. How many times have I said until I am blue on the face, just be about it? And yes, that's a double entendre, both it and tit. Be about it and about tits. Now, what is wrong with that? And, you know, that would maybe solve all the problems and give us world peace. No, but just be about it. I cannot stand, especially now when everyone's crying, you know, we're in the age of authenticity. Bitch, if you are going to be out here pandering and performing and doing a song and dance and an Irish jig for one thing, you bet your ass you best be doing this behind the scenes and when the cameras aren't rolling, especially if you are going to be preaching like the real authenticity, all this. So why am I on this little thing right now? Because before hopping on here, do you guys remember the last time I did my Friday pop-up? I was talking all about, actually, again, sort of in conjunction with all of this, with the Alix's and the business dealings and fallings out and all this, but dealing with money and people in business and all that. And, you know, my own issues, I'm working, you know, through it around all this. But I told you the first story in that episode was with the influencer who I know and who I offered to be part of a platform I was working with, offered her money to do a piece on it. And she blew up shortly after, like blew up, and told me that she couldn't take it because she was getting paid like double, triple the amount. Basically, her whole thing is like breaking the veneer of influencers, right? And being like, influencers are all in their bullshit, pretending everything is fake and good, and I'm going to tell you the real, okay? But unbeknownst to their audience, but beknownst to me, getting paid by said services to do this. But at the same time, telling their audience that they're not getting paid and putting other influencers on blast who are getting paid, saying that it's like unethical, all this. And I see this person on a newscast today, a big news platform, reiterating this. The anchors are like, you're so real. All the influencers are so fake. You're breaking that whole facade. And of course, like, you're not going to get paid by these companies like they are, because then it would sway you one way or the other. And they're like, oh, no, not possibly. And I pay for everything out of pocket. And I'm like, bitch, that is fake. Stop being fake. I have the receipts. Now, I'm not going to pull a jibber jabber, passive, all this shit with I could if I wanted, putting the DMs here, there, everywhere. But I just can't stand it. Again, if your whole thing is going to be about, I'm not like the other influencers. I'm not getting paid to say certain things. I'm, pulling it out of my own pocket to be real with you, but literally on the low getting paid by these establishments. Tell us then. It's so fake. It just grinds my gears. It's so funny. It's like, just be real. I can't. This is why in Hollywood, I was always calling them out on their shit, because they would pander and do this whole thing. And again, this whole like song and dance, and then it was something else completely behind the scenes. But again, now when we are in the time of everyone being, quote, authentic and just being themselves and having blowing up on a predicated on that whole thing, having your followers buy into that and not being, and that's the thing. This person's like, I'll be transparent about this, and my come up and blah, 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 and not the main crux of their business. Lies, like fake news, be the fuck about it. So that's what kind of brings me to the Alix Earle thing, because look, like, I'm not going to get into the weeds, and that's where this broadcast today is going to be a little bit different, because I've listened to all the TikToks, all the shows, everyone going on, like the timeline and the this and the that and the petty shit. Okay, we're going to look at the bigger picture as usual. But I do feel like it pertains to this, because I do get Ellen vibes. I don't know. There's going to be more that comes out from this. And this story is really fascinating. It's not just like, I'm not a reality TV girl. I could care less. But this has like a grip on the zeitgeist. And it's not just petty gossip. I think that it's so much. There's a reason that this has a grip, at least on the majority of American women, right? Because it hits on, of course, like female dynamics, business, money, fame, notoriety, social media, all this kinds of media, all this stuff. But from what I am picking up, and you guys know I smell shit from a mile away. Okay. Maybe it is like the Mean Girls, Karen, like the tits like are her weather. She's like a weather girl. The tits like tell the weather. These bad boys, like, let me tell you, these are satellites from space, bitch, in my NASA shirt, because they smell shit out. And I am getting Ellen vibes with Alix Cooper. And similarly, again, you're going to do this whole Oscar, Tony, EGOT performance of being like this happy, chipper, bearer of good news, girl, all this shit, and like literally be the exorcist Ursula behind the scenes. Like, be about it. And if that's the case with Alix Cooper being like, girl, and da-da-da-da-da, and is literally like Miranda Priestley behind the scenes. And again, I don't care. Be a bitch. Be a dick. Like, be a Dave Portnoy. But at least be real and be honest about it. Like, knock it off. I can at least respect it. John Legend's with me in the comments. Am I right? Like, I don't care. But at least, like, be about it. Steve Jobs didn't care that he was a dick. I love him for that. To the grave. Like, then do it. But I can't stand the, like, the two-faced whole shit of it all, like, especially because, again, now in today's world, like, we can poke through it, we see right through it, everything is like out there, and our personal, whatever, social media, just be about it. And you guys know, if you've met me in real life, I don't care if it's like somebody who met me when I was waitressing a year ago. I don't care if it's an intern I had. These people can attest, Taylor, she is who she is on and off camera. Like, be about it, okay? So now that I got that off my tits and my chest, is the Alix Earle. Okay, so big picture is, I'm not going to lie though, with that said, because we are all sat, and I will say I do know some insider tea. But it's not my place. It's not my story to tell. We will just see, how it plays out in that regard. I'll hint at a couple things, but I'm not going to lie. I'm going to just address how it looks. Even how it may look here with me talking about it. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I don't really care. But I see a ton, Lady Gang, The Toast, like all these popular female led shows. And they are all, even if it's on the low, like you can tell that they're a little vindicated and they're a little chipper about Alex Cooper very much getting thrown under the bus right now and Alix Earle like winning this social media fight. And it looks like even though these women have successful podcasts, let's be honest, none of them even touch the empire and the behemoth that Alex Cooper built. So it does look like they're a little bit gleeful and relishing in the fact that like the queen of podcasting media is like, maybe the throne is getting taken down. Like that is how, ladies, I'm sorry. That is how it comes off. That is. And me, I kind of wish, and some maybe did, maybe the girls on The Toast, like they're really funny, Claudia, like maybe they did admit, you know what, like you've had your day, bitch. It's all also like such a scarcity mindset, but whatever. That's another manifestation quantum shit for another day. But it does come off like that. I'm just going to come out with it, out of the gate. It does come off a little bit like I said, it's like, oh, we're not there yet. So ha ha ha, she had it coming. And, she's more successful in all this, which like isn't the vibe either. So, okay, a little bit of background to set the table now about how I, fell out of, the Artemis and off of Mars and into this. So really quick, some of the comments here. Don't trigger me on the mainstream media. Yeah, John Legend, for real. Two-Face act like they're the one who's stupid. Like you are the one who's stupid when they are. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is like, I would hope what we learn from all of this, clearly we are very dense because we didn't learn this from like the Ellens, the whoever else. I'm sure there's this whole thing too has become about gender. Men can get away with it, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure there have been men like this as well, but it's like, again, audiences are becoming more and more privy. So it's like, cut it with the act, like cut the shit. Okay. Basically. So, okay. Call Her Daddy 2018, when it launched, I was living in LA. Red Carpet Reporter became a huge success. And I heard about it through a friend. And that is how it was through word of mouth. Like, listen to these two girls talk about this like locker room raunchy shit you would never otherwise hear women talk about. And it was so entertaining. And it wasn't my jive. I wasn't just like listening to it while like slitting my wrist on the 405. But I get why it caught fire. And I always have said, and a lot of people are saying this, that the two of them were funnier together when it was Sophia and Alex. And you guys know how I feel. I've talked about this a lot, and not out of jealousy or anything, just purely out of being a consumer and loving media. Like the new Call Her Daddy, this whole feministy, Michelle Obama, Kamala, like it's just so not my thing. And it does kind of feel a little performative, but whatever, not my call to make. So when the whole thing was coming undone, when Alex and Sophia Franklin, the original hosts, were parting ways, and it was a whole thing. It was like a huge controversy, and Dave Portnoy like took over their podcast, if you remember, and like broadcasted from their show about the tea and the IP and all this. At the time, I was doing a show with my friend Emily, who's now gone on to be a really successful publicist. She was also a Red Carpet Reporter at the time. And our show was called Two Blondes Don't Make a Right. And we would riff similarly to what Talk to Me Taylor and Cancel Me Baby ultimately became, but we would riff on all the like crazy shit that we would see in Hollywood, but always make like, we would also like rag on Gavin Newsom, like make some sort of like social, cultural, political point. And so as Call Her Daddy was like busting through the seams, and it was so crazy too, because our little podcast with like 200 viewers was getting viewed by the Call Her Daddy account, which who knows if it was Dave, like who had taken it over, because we were like working this shit like a stripper pole. Like we were on the night shift. We were on the graveyard shift because we were pitching it to be picked up. Barstool was one of the ones we wanted. And they had caught in wind of it and were checking out the show and all this. And we literally had a meeting with Dave Portnoy in the midst of this. And it was so wild because again, just like this, it had such a grip on the culture. Like, is the show, gonna fall through all this shit, right? And meanwhile, like we were kind of in the crosshairs, behind the scenes of like, are we going to be, the next big show on Barstool, all this, like as Call Her Daddy is like whatever's happening there is, getting dismantled. But what ended up happening was, for better or worse, Dave Portnoy was, and he said this in our call with him. He was like, is your show going to cannibalize Chicks in the Office? And Chicks in the Office is a show on Barstool where two girls just talk about pop culture. So he was worried about that. And who knows what other reasons, but for better or worse, like I said, it didn't come through. But that's just like why it's so crazy now to watch this all play out. It's very trippy because, again, I was sort of like in it then, and now to see another iteration, however many years later, of shit going sideways with the show, it's just, whatever. I just thought an interesting vantage point. So in terms of, another thing that I want to address about all of this, guys, is I get it. I too, and I've said this to Rob, who's been hand in hand with me in business for 10 years. Before we were a couple, he helped me create the Selfie Stick site. He helped create and bring my Playboy feature into fruition. So that's the other thing with all this. There's talk of, when Sophia Franklin's boyfriend was in the mix, and now Alex Cooper's husband is controlling and all this shit, and like men shouldn't be in the convo and shouldn't work with you in business. That's fucking bullshit. Okay. I'll just tell you straight up. Like, maybe don't ask Stevie Nicks about it or do, because that shit, was iconic and was what it was with Fleetwood Mac and Lindsey Buckingham. But I call bullshit on that. And I also am okay. The reason I set that up is because I too, building my own platform, helming this ship, being in so constantly pitching, grinding. People who know me know the amount of like holidays I've been like in coffee shops or like under a kitchen sink, like fucking Harry Potter. Like, you guys have no idea. I get it. And I too have been in a position when I've had different teams, different joint ventures, different interns, where I would say to Rob, like, I don't want to come off like a bitch. I get it, but that said, I've been there. But I am so sick of this shit it feels like a cop-out or an excuse of, women, if they're assertive or aggressive in business, they're just deemed a bitch. I'm so sick of it. I'm not sick of like, I guess what I'm saying is like, I'm sick of women actually being mean girl bitches and then using that as like a thing to fall back on or to rewrite the story. I'm not saying, I don't know if that's what Alex Cooper's done. I foresee, again, my little spidey senses antennas here are telling me that is ultimately what's going to happen. You can just see the writing on the wall there, but I'm so sick of it. I really am, and I want you guys to know too, how I come off or how I navigate, right? Because it's constant. And I've stepped into rooms where it's like with the CEO of this, with the founder of that, with the VC of this, in situations I never thought that I would be in. And I am by no means a driving Miss Daisy dandelion. Like, you can ask them. Like, I'm the girl, even like when the dudes are like, I hate small talk. I hate jibber jabber. I'm like, okay, so let's get to the thing. Let's get shit done. Okay, so you were going to have this done. How's this looking? Did you fill this deadline? Like, they're like, wow, she is like on a mission. Like, we're scared of her. Trust me. I am, like I said, by no means driving Miss Daisy. But I also feel like you can be driven and a hard ass and, a badass and all of these things and not be a mean girl bitch. And I'm so sick. Like, I love Bethany Frankel. I love how she just like keeps it real with like her chicken salad. She went on a whole thing about this being like, Alex Cooper's an amazing business is business. Too bad. I'm so sick of hearing this too. A man could get away with this, yada, yada. Right. But again, don't pretend to be, like, pick one. Don't pretend or be a Miranda Priestley and be like, I am a fucking bitch. Deal with it. Or walk out of the Vogue headquarters. Nobody wants you here with your ugly flannel skirt anyways. Like, I'm so sick of it being used as an excuse. Like, in my mind, again, you can still have a hard line on these things and mean business and get shit done and not be a mean girl bitch. And I'm so sick of this thing of like women. I've experienced it in the workplace, trying to be like men, trying to have whatever sort of Napoleon complex, whatever the fuck. And they are actual bitches. And then they're like, what? I was just assertive as a woman in business. Stop. Just stop. It's old, it's tired, it's played, it's ragged. You know, like my witch hair and split ends were looking just like a couple months ago, which none of you guys told me I had a bad hair day for like 3 months straight on the show. But like it's old. I'm so sick of it. So, you know, with that said, and it's funny because I had Stacey Engel on the show last night, who's the CEO of Twin Protocol, which is a beast, guys, in the AI space. Like they're one of like the head honchos. And we talked about this very thing, like in leadership, leaning into our strengths, you know? And that's something that really bothers me. It's like men trying to be like women in the workplace, women trying to be like men in the workplace. It doesn't work well. And maybe Alix Cooper just has that business bone in her body. Maybe she's a vulture, like people are saying. Maybe she's a savage, like people are saying. Maybe. Okay. Then that's fine. Like I'm not trying to police and be like, you have to be the nice lady of the kindergarten class teacher. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. But again, when there's a discrepancy, or then when you are gonna like, you can just be like, yes, I'm a bitch in business, deal with it. Instead of, again, doing this whole parade and charade about, you know, women and coddling them and braiding each other and all this shit, you know? I don't know. I just personally feel like it doesn't work. I feel like you can be so fierce, so feminine, get shit done. And same thing with men, you know? And I have grappled with, like, does it take a little bit of unhinged, lunatic, you know, kookiness to be brilliant? A Steve Jobs. Like there's so many stories, right? An Elon Musk, like, and be a little bit of a dick or a bitch. Again, maybe, but then wear it on your sleeve, bitch. I don't want to hear the excuses. I'm sick of it. And what's more interesting about, I got an LOL from John Legend. I don't know what that was about, but I'll take it. Because I just like literally blacked out that whole thing. So hopefully you guys will make sense of that. So as we wrap here, I only wanted this to be 20 minutes. There are things, again, it's not my place. I know how I operate, my message, who I have on the show, why I do, you know, all that. There is a part of me that thinks, and this is kind of, again, getting to the bigger picture of it all, like with all of this, you know, we can have fun and the gossip and the drama and the I'm sad and I'm the this and I'm the that, right? And I'm team this and I'm team that. But it holding a mirror up to us and what it says about us, right? Maybe Alix Cooper is just a ruthless business person. And she's like, people have said, she's like, I've heard many, many things that her team is less than pleasant to work with. And again, you can hold this up to, can you say the same about men? Sure. I don't know, whatever. But that it is ruthless. Like, I don't give a fuck about her, about them. I just want to make money. And the whole thing of like being an ambulance chaser and this and this. Does it feel a little bit that way? That's for me where I get a little bit, again, like my blonde spidey senses. It's like, are you again really for the people, for people telling their stories? Or is this about getting somebody who just had a massive heartbreak of this and that and you want to make a buck and get clicks, right? Again, that's not my vibe. It's not my story to tell. If you're going to do that, then do it and own it. But it's like, again, this thing of like trying to be both. And I'm just not having it like be about, John Legend was laughing at my bad hair day. Yeah, you're included in that, John Legend, because I look back at like the last couple months and I'm like, literally, why did nobody tell me that I had an afro as a white girl? So okay, the entitlement thing, this is like the Ellen thing and, you know, all of that. And I recently I had my panties in a wad. Poor Rob. He had to hear like a whole mouthful because I heard a story about someone I know in media, and it's a guy who basically, the short of it is, was just fucking up his job over and over and over and over. And I said to Rob, I'm like, this is an opportunity I would like literally do a quadruple back handspring for. And this guy can like be late, this, not give a fuck. I'm like, I would kill for that opportunity. And I said to him, I was like, is this like an entitlement thing? And I was like, are the feminists right about this? Is like this what they've been hooting and hollering about how like men can get away with all kinds of shit and keep fucking up and like women can't. And Rob said, he's like, maybe it's like an entitlement thing, which again, maybe it does play to Alix Cooper, like the Ellen thing. Maybe it's a personality thing. He was like, maybe it is a little bit of a male women thing. Like men innately just have that like built in, baked in, like build a bear, build a man entitlement and like an arrogance. But I think it's just something to think about here? I don't know. And again, maybe it's okay that it's a little bit of both, but and it's something truthfully, like it's so funny. Rob and I were talking about this the other day, and he's like, I don't know that you are ruthless enough in business. And having that entitlement, and like in a way it's like a blessing and a curse that like you don't have that ruthlessness and that you aren't entitled, because clearly like it helps a lot of these people. But again, it's also like trying to be something you're not. I reposted this video the other day of Ice-T saying this. He's like, as an artist, as an engineer, as a writer, as a like whatever you are, you know, be that, versus like if you're not a business person. He's like, I try to contort shapeshift to be a business person and I let other people do it. Like it didn't work for me. I was like, yes, that part, you know, I've learned and grown, but it's like it just doesn't even feel good. Like, why? You know, and that's where, again, when Bethany Frankel of it all is like, business is business. I don't know. I just feel like, and again, I'm not the, or am I? G's is like G's tits. Yeah, I think so. But like just the arbiter of all. I don't know. I think I've seen it plenty of times where there's a way to do it and just not like have a wrath and like ruin people's lives and be a dick. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like there's a way to like successfully run business. But hey, again, what do I know? Because I don't have a, you know, 7-figure deal with Spotify or Sirius. So like, what do I know? Okay. But you get what I'm getting at. It's like to successfully run business and like be a good person. I don't know. A crazy thought. I have a comment here. Is it okay that a man, this is taking us off course. I'm going to skip this. Something about a man telling a woman she's cute always. Okay. The second thing I want to take a look at before we end is what goes on. You know, I've been, you know, really transparent about this lately with you guys, like comparing yourself to other people's social media and feeling like shit, and they have this and this and this. Basically, like the tea that I know that I'm not going to give here, not everything you see is what you get. Even like the Alex Cooper herself, and like with her private this like flashing off a wedding, a fancy gift, just you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. You don't know what people's lives are really like. I'm just going to leave that up to interpretation. So that's another takeaway that I had for this. And the last thing too, again, is, and I can't take full credit with this because a good friend of mine who does killer marketing, she and I were having this conversation last night, but she was like, again, you can drag Alex Cooper, whoever all day long, but the truth of the matter is, there wouldn't be a business off of this. Say it's the ambulance chaser thing, whatever it is, if it's not what the people wanted. Same thing with like trashy reality TV, right? So it's like, what does it say about us that we want to hear from so-and-so after something tragic happened? Because people are saying too that Alex Cooper frames herself as like an Oprah, or like being the new like kind of tabloidy, like Us Weekly, Entertainment Tonight, where people go to like after they got a divorce or after something scandalous happened. And it's sort of like, you can't be both, like pick one. And I've thought a lot about that, you know. I thought, you know, and now again, I'm someone who's all for like breaking out of the box, you know, tits out, brain out, and not being confined to one thing. But I have thought a lot about that, you know, given that this has been my whole career path and trajectory. And I thought about like where I'm anchored in, like, and what I'm anchored in, and how I go about, you know, my messaging. And again, just wanting to, while stepping out of boxes, being consistent again. Like I know for me, what really drives me, as you guys may or may not know, the first thing is when I want to have someone on my show is if they're a thought criminal. Rob will always send me stories like, you should have this person on your show. Maybe it was like, you know, a female athlete who got dragged for like dressing sexy, being like, I don't care, kick rocks. You know, maybe it was like a former member of KISS who said like something politically incorrect about trans kids, like to me, or someone who got fired for this or whatever it is. Like that to me is really fascinating. And I always say, and you can check the receipts, bitch. You can check my emails, you can check all my stuff, right? Like when people will pitch me or, you know, whatever it is, or they'll ask like, what kind of guests do you have? I will always say somebody who, you know, is influential in the zeitgeist and who has an interesting point of view and something to say. Like, I am not interested in so-and-so dating so-and-so. That's just not me. Like, I want them to be able to go in the ring, not pussyfoot around shit, and have an interesting point of view and throw down and have something to say. Cause you know, my whole thing's like, don't fucking tell me what I can and can't say. So I don't know, to me, it feels consistent. And so that's what why a lot of people, again, have this under a microscope. And that's why I get a little bit of an ick, because is your position really to, like, quote unquote, lift women up and women's rights and all this, but low key be like in Us Weekly, TMZ, whatever, profiting off of like tragedy, heartbreak, like their shit, like just seeing that like as a moment to pounce. Like, to me, that just feels shitty. But it's just, I'm reading the comments here. You know, but again, maybe, just maybe, that is something to be said. I don't know. Like usual, I don't really have clean-cut answers in all of this, because someone made a really good point too. That's like, with Call Her Daddy, she's not so much the draw anymore. It's the people she brings on. They want to see Khloe Kardashian. They want to see whoever. Whereas like Joe Rogan will bring on like Joe Schmo, but they love Joe Rogan. They love that. They want to see who he thinks is interesting. They want to see what he has to say, right? So, because where I was going to go with this was like, maybe is it just a mirror all up to us that like we are just trash, and that we're going to allow or want like people to profit off and capitalize off like this shit. But, you know, I don't know, maybe not. Yeah, John Legend, you always, like, when I come to the end here and I don't really know where to leave things, I feel like you always leave us with a mic drop. John Legend in the comments said, they need to get off the politically correct trash. We have a right to our opinion. Yeah, completely. And you know what? That's how maybe I will end all of this. I have a right to my opinion. And my opinion, as are you, by the way, is stop it with this bullshit of, oh, women are business, are bitches. Stop. And the famous 3 words, actually maybe 4, be about it, bitch. I feel like the bitch like really adds a punctuation. Just be about it. Period. Done. Don't have to cover your tracks. Can put all the receipts out there. Be about it. And you know what? I can't guarantee that the world would be a better place, but it would be a much more honest and real place. So put that in your little Artemis and smoke it. I will see you guys next week. Hopefully you took something from this. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe someone out there did, but I'll see you next week. Maybe on Mars.
Chris, how was your pee break?
My pee break.
They might flash you on the tape.
Random baby.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
I too am a thought criminal.
Good. Well, I like you already.
Does this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
No.
Around?
But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave.
Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is